Hello, and welcome to Cool Harford Schools. I'm Jillian Lader, Manager of Communications for Harford County Public Schools. Everywhere we look, there are things to discover, mysteries to solve, and ideas to explore. That's what learning is all about. We're committed to helping our Harford County Public Schools students take their classroom learning and bring it to their homes, their communities, and to the world they live in. That's why hands-on, experiential learning is such an important part of our curriculum. And that's why our students love the time they spend at the Harford Glen Environmental Education Center. Let's find out why.
It's really fun to be here.
The most interesting part of Harford Glen for me would definitely be the hikes.
You get to learn more about the plants and animals that live here.
Actually get to go and look at different things, and you get to learn about different things that you wouldn't be able to in a classroom.
I definitely enjoy the hikes, and every single time, I've come here 5 times, and every time the hikes I see something new every single time.
What I like best about this program is that I get to see plants and animals that I never thought I would be able to see.
So here at camp, they have lessons on birding. They learn about data collection and how they can report that through citizen science. They learn about stream health. They actually go and collect data in the stream and learn about ways that we can implement different strategies at home to protect our streams and make them healthier. They learn about the importance of growing your own food. Every student this year plants microgreens that they take back to their homes and grow, and they get to try them at home.
The most surprising thing I learned was how many invasive species of plants there are here.
The most surprising thing I learned here is that there's so many invasive species of plants that you can see.
You can see the excitement in their eyes, when they start to plant those seeds or work with the plants or work in the gardens. And being in the woods, you can just kind of see them come to life. Some students come here, and those are the students that struggle in the classroom, and they come here and they shine when they're outside, and they just become very independent and proud of themselves. They build a lot of self-confidence here. They start to make connections with science and the importance of data collection and math. It brings it all together, and how we can be part of science even as a 5th grader.
It changed my connection because I like plants and animals and I like being outside, but this just showed me that there's a lot more plants and animals than I thought there were, because there's so many different plants here than I've seen before.
Something that was really interesting that I learned while being here would have to be this ice box. The ice house over there, it's the coolest thing in the world. And basically back in the day, they would during the winter months, they would save up the whole entire thing, fill it with ice and sawdust. And then in the summertime, it would last for at least 6 months to a year. And the summer, they would hold all their fish and all their cold stuff in this giant freezer that they made.
Our focus here at Harford Glen is to provide students with education on how to become better stewards. The 5th graders learn to become better stewards of the environment, learning how to build in skills to improve our environment, make it better.
From a student perspective, Harford Glen is very, very important, because I feel a lot of kids, especially this day and age, it's just strict technology, iPads, computers, video games. But when you're at Harford Glen, you can't have your phone, so it's you're really in the moment.
I think it's a good thing that you can't have devices that you can play video games on, because it takes you away from being able to see electronics in front of your face, and you get to see what the world is around you.
I think when students are here, the ability to step away from technology, the typical technology, is really important. Things slow down here, and I think they can really start to take in the environment around them and just focus on being in the moment.
Everyone should honestly get the opportunity to do this. I really do feel like every student should have the opportunity to come to Harford Glen.
Everybody leaves here with something new that they've learned. That's really exciting.
Experiential learning can take many forms, from bird banding and invasive species identification to developing and pitching an ice cream flavor that combines all your favorite tastes and skills. Let's meet up with some Edgewood High School students pitching their best ideas for the next big ice cream flavor. Then we'll head over to Upper Chesapeake Medical Center, where learning starts on day one.
Hey, my name is Chuck Hunter. I'm here with the Edgewood High School Academy of Finance. Today we hosted our Ice Cream University event along with Ingredient and Edgewood Creamery. Our students in our entrepreneurship class created ice cream flavors with the help of Ingredient, prepared elevator pitches, with the winners, the top 3 winners being presented as flavors and sold at Edgewood Creamery. Stay tuned to see who wins.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Simino and I work at Ingredient. I work on our sales team and we are excited to partner with Edgewood High School for Ice Cream University. Ice Cream University is something that Ingredient has participated in for about 15 years. We partner with local high schools to help them create a pitch and then create their ice cream to share with the community. I actually participated in this program when I was in high school, so I'm happy to bring it back and be on the other side to get to help the students.
So in third place with a score of 770 is Brookie Mel. And second place with a score of 780 is Reppin' Rams. And first place with a score of 795 is Coffee Twist.
Our flavor is Coffee Twist and it includes
vanilla ice cream,
Coffee creamer,
caramel syrup,
brownie,
coffee twist.
Cutest. He's so famous. He's the cutest little boy.
So today we're here at Upper Chesapeake Hospital to deliver our first readiness bag. And those readiness bags are information and manipulatives and books that we're providing to new parents. So this is a partnership that was developed between Upper Chesapeake Hospital and Harford County Public Schools, whereas we want to be able to bring information to new parents to get them started right away so that they're prepping their child from the time they're born to get them ready for their entrance into kindergarten 5 years from now. And really we wanted to provide some developmental milestones, some books, some information on hope, which is healthy outcomes from positive experiences. And also we're giving them a HCPS onesie, so really that's their first foray into the school system.
My name's Samantha Sauer.
Hi, I'm Steven.
And this is Kai.
Very cool. The onesie is awesome. Clothes are always much appreciated. Learning is high priority, so anything that we can get to help boost his education is awesome.
It's going to be super important for us to read to him. We want to make sure that he is as educated as possible. Education is key for a little guy to grow up and make sure that he can be an awesome part of society and that he can contribute and make the biggest changes in the world.
Hi, my name is Anne Marie Moore, and I am the nurse manager at the University of Maryland Upper Chesapeake Health's Family Birthplace and Pediatrics departments. This is important to help connect our patients with the community in which they're having their babies. We are the only labor and delivery department here in Harford County, and it's giving back to the community in which we live and serve.
So we have about 1,000 babies born in this hospital every year of Harford County residents. So we're really looking forward to being able to give these bags to those 1,000 mothers every year and better preparing our children for when we see them come into our system 4 or 5 years from now.
You don't have to jump out of a plane to see all the amazing things Harford County, Maryland has to offer. It's just way cooler if you do.
Take your pick. Harford County, Maryland has something exciting for everyone.
In our last edition of Cool Harford Schools, we featured the Brown family, 2 generations of teachers here in Harford County who shared some invaluable insight into the dedication, passion, and joy of teaching as a lifelong profession. Well, they had lots more to say when they talked with Kyle Anderson, Public Information Specialist for Harford County Public Schools. Let's hear more from James and Jennifer Brown, foreign language teachers at Fallston Middle School, and their son, Saxon, who teaches English at Bel Air High School.
What is your philosophy of teaching? Like, what is your belief makes a good teacher?
So I think teaching's different than a lot of other professions. Like a good surgeon is someone who puts the new kidney in and it works and you're good to go. But a good teacher looks like a lot of different things. They could be the no-nonsense, straight-laced one, or they can be the goofy one, or they can be the one that dresses up, or the one that's very calm. And it's all about knowing yourself and knowing your students. And I think my personal philosophy on teaching is most of my students don't need to know how Of Mice and Men ends to have a happy, successful life. And so for me, my content area and anyone's content area is just the vehicle through which we teach students things about themselves and about others to help them better interact with the world around them.
Well, you do.
Yeah, so I was ready to say that we teach Spanish, French, and German, and typically kids will take maybe about 3 years, and then they'll move on to other things. It's rare that we hear a student who goes on and actually continues studying these languages. But for us, we know that, and language is a conduit into the much bigger picture, like Saxon mentioned. So we really use our language as a conduit to teach these kids and to get them to recognize their own potential. And I know it's cliche to say to become lifelong learners, but really, if we can get these kids to learn independently, then our job lasts beyond the 180 days we have them as students in our class. But they continue on learning, and then they can discover those things that really are passionate to them.
Anything to add?
I would say, for me, building rapport with the students is a really important aspect of what I do. I feel that if they feel that you're invested in them, they will invest in what you're doing. There's a trust that's built. It's hard to be a middle school student and to ask them to speak in another language in front of everyone, or to get up and participate in the activities that we like to do in our classrooms. They have to trust you and know that you're invested in them. So I try really hard to build rapport with the kids.
So the both of you have been teaching for 30 years, almost 30 years. A lot has changed. What stands out to you? We've been through a pandemic. The curriculum's obviously changed. Teaching mechanics have changed. Technology is everywhere. What is so different?
Well, the pandemic certainly was a big moment, but when we started teaching, we were really on the tail end. Still, when we started teaching in the early 90s, the chalkboard and the overhead were still, how we delivered a lot of our material. And so we got into teaching, and not much had changed. I mean, the computer was around, but it wasn't ubiquitous like it is today. So we started teaching with teachers who had been using the chalkboard for 30 and 40 years. And so we were on the cusp of all this change. So we got to change with it. I think that was easy. That made it easy for us. The computers started trickling in, which of course enhanced the curriculum. But COVID was a total game changer. I think we were on a trajectory where we are today, but not in a 3-year turnaround. I saw what's going on today, maybe 10, 15 years out, just spitballing those things, but yeah, that was a real game changer, and that was an interesting period in our teaching careers.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to the overhead projector because that was part of what we used every single day. And now we have the smart boards. And I have an overhead projector in my room. It's put away, but we got it out the other day and the kids were fascinated with it. What is that? How does that work? And I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to actually use that next year. I think they'd get a kick out of it. It still serves a purpose in the classroom. It's just another way to deliver instruction.
So, Saxon, I want to circle back to you, and this is a question I want you all to think about. But as a new teacher, what has teaching taught you?
That's a good question. I think the big thing it's taught me is how much I am, one, learning on the job. When you're in college, I think it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you know next to everything, which is not true. And then on the first day, I didn't even know how to take attendance. I had to go to my colleague and like, oh my gosh, it's day one and I already don't know what I'm doing. But teaching has really taught me that you learn alongside your students. No 2 years are going to be the same. And so next year I know I'm going to do this stuff better. And then I'll have another set of things to work on in year 3. So I think the danger is falling into when you are like, oh, I'm good. I don't have anything else to learn to do. That's what teaching has taught me. It's a continual process of revision and execution.
Awesome.
So teaching has taught me that there's still a lot for me to learn. Every year, I try to incorporate new things into my classroom, new ways of instruction. The computer is always keeping me on my toes with the technology. And I think I've also learned that just teaching the kids Spanish isn't my number one goal, that along with it, I'd like to teach them a little bit about the world that they live in, music and food and all of the things that go into the culture of the Spanish-speaking world, but, you know, just how to grow up and be well-rounded individuals.
Saxon and Jen, touched on a very important point. We work in this human economy with kids, and often as a teacher, I'm asked how, what I'm doing in the classroom, how I'm influencing, the future generation. But the reality is, there's an equal exchange coming. There's an exchange, and students are teaching me about myself, are teaching me about the world around me that I didn't even know existed, especially when it comes to technology. So it's very interesting, and I wouldn't say I'm kept current by my students because that's not their job, but I am given this unique window into the lives of young teenagers that I think some of my friends working outside of education really don't have the opportunity. So I think that's I've benefited as much from my students as I hope my students have benefited from my instruction.
When you look at your students today, what gives you hope about the future?
I've never confused 2 of my students. They're all different. Just like you wouldn't confuse your parents or your coworkers. They're different. They all approach the readings differently, the questions differently, the prompts differently. Some of them love English, some of them don't. Some of them are more willing to read another chapter and some aren't. They're all wired differently. They have different interests. And what gives me hope for the future is that the big problems or issues facing society are multifaceted and you need diverse thinkers. And if everyone thought the same, we'd be in real trouble. But thankfully, they're not.
So my last question is, if you're speaking to a high school senior, a kid in college, a student teacher, what is it that you tell that young person about teaching and what they need to think about when considering teaching as a career?
Saxon, you're probably the closest.
Yeah, I think the best teachers have a strong sense of self. I am not afraid to try a new idea. I'm not afraid to look ridiculous in my room. To be silly, to be serious, but you have to know who you are, because that's what's going to work for you. And so I will sometimes look at my more experienced colleagues and I'll see things that they're doing that I desperately wish to emulate. And I know some of it will come with time, but I know a lot of it is just incompatible with the teacher that I'm turning out to be. And you need to be okay with that. And you have to know who you are and know where you want to be and be comfortable with yourself to get there.
I would say you have to be ready to answer 3,000 questions before 8 o'clock in the morning. And you need to be ready to say all kinds of funny things that no one else gets to go to work and say during their work day. It's really, it's fun. You got to really love being with the kids.
Yeah, the classroom is really an extension of yourself and how you interact with the kids. And if you enjoy students and you enjoy your content area, then you have picked the right occupation.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It truly amazes me how much of teaching has become generational, how many times you see so many different teachers in one family, and you guys are a testament to that in HCPS and to each other. And I think you guys have a lot to be proud of, and you're leaving a great legacy behind you. And thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tom.
As we move through this season of giving and enter a new year of hope and possibilities, many of us reflect on our own paths and the importance of using our own personal experiences as a foundation for our commitment to giving back. Such is the case for the founder of our annual toy drive. Let's meet Kiana Barnes, Administrative Specialist at the Harford County Public Schools Transportation Department.
My grandmother kind of told me, like, hey, you know, if it weren't for this organization or that organization, you guys wouldn't have had Christmas, you know, but your mom courageously went and asked for help so that you guys would have something to wake up to. So I'm Kiana Barnes, and I work for the Transportation Department of Harford County Public Schools. In my job, I am an administrative specialist, and my primary function is payroll, but I always find myself engaged in community events. So a lot of people don't know, but transportation actually does a lot of community events. We go out to libraries, we do back to school drives, we do touch a truck events. The community event that holds my heart is my annual toy drive. I've been doing it every year since I've been here, since 2019. It was literally the first thing that I actually contributed, I would say, to the department. I just kind of came in day one, like, hey, can we do this? And from there on, we've been doing it every single year, and every year just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It truly hits home because I'm a Christmas person. Like, I'm always looking and asking people, are you okay for Christmas? Do you have what you need? Just let me know. If I need to go to the store and grab you a couple things, it's that magic. It's kids waking up to that joy and just knowing that I can play, even if it's a tiny part in any child, waking up to gifts and stocking stuffers and just participating in that joy of Christmas, then I'm going to do it. And I think the background of me even wanting to be a part of that comes from my childhood, and my mom was one of those parents where she was a benefactor of these programs, and that's how my Christmases became a Christmas a lot of times. So it just kind of was like full circle for me, and I think it just really resonated with me, like, wow. I just remember waking up and there were things and just enjoying Christmas. And like I said, as soon as I became an adult, I'm like, well, what can I do? Because there's kids out there just like me and my brothers were, who truly benefit from this. And so that's been my story, to just make sure every single year, no matter how much time and energy it takes, I'm going to do this toy drive every single year, like clockwork.
I hope you've enjoyed our dive into the many aspects of education here in Harford County. Let us know what you're curious about and what you'd like us to explore on Cool Harford Schools. Stay up to date on Harford County Public Schools happenings between shows by following us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. Until next time, I'm Jillian Later.